Hello, it is 11:15 on the 3rd of July, and we just watched one of the best tennis matches I've seen in a long time. I've decided I'm gonna make a Wimbledon thoughts video, so I suppose this is not really part one, but it is. I did watch a couple of matches on Monday and Tuesday, but not fully and not totally because I was at work, so it was kind of on in the background. I did actually watch the Sinner match because I fell in love with Jannik Sinner in the Australian Open when he won. Actually, before he won, when I was watching the match, I decided to root for him, and then he mentioned his parents in his thank yous, and that really got me. But I started watching this match probably just after it started. I think they were maybe 2 or 3 games in, and I was watching most of it, and then we went for supper, or we didn't go, I went to the kitchen for supper, and luckily my grandma said, why don't we watch the tennis while we eat, and I was very grateful for that. And it just went on and on and on, and I can't remember the opponent's name, it's Matteo Bernardatini or something, was excellent, was phenomenal. I am quite upset that he's already out now. I'm upset that they already played each other now. I feel like genuinely this could have been a semi-final or a finals match. It was so equal. Sinner was just coming out on top, but it was so close. And they both played very well, and they both absolutely deserved to win. And my heart was on edge the whole time. I thought Sinner would just try and take it home in the 3rd set, and then he didn't. And Matteo just smashed it. And then I just didn't know what was going to happen anymore. And then the 4th set, it was so even. I thought, okay, no, now Sinner's going to try and take it home. And it wasn't. It was so close, and it could have gone either way. And it was very impressive. I really enjoyed it. So as I keep watching Wimbledon matches, I will keep talking on here. I'll just make a whole video about my thoughts, just for the record. I love tennis. I don't really remember watching much tennis before I moved to Australia, but once I did, we watched a lot of tennis, and I played tennis for quite a few years, and I just really loved the sport. And I love how most of the players, not all, but most, are really lovely. They seem really genuine and friendly, and they're friendly with the other players. You know, I really enjoy seeing that. And I have gone to the Australian Open, which was super cool. And I think it was the year that Wawrinka won, but we went, early on in the week, and we saw Nadal and Wawrinka, I think it was them two, practicing together, which was really cool to then end up seeing him win. And I think it was them in the final as well. I could be mistaken. So yeah, I'm a big fan of tennis, but when I lived in Australia, I didn't really watch many of the other Opens because the time difference was a nightmare. But now I'm here. And I didn't watch the French Open, but I'm watching Wimbledon. And day 3 so far, I'm very much enjoying it. I watched the Djokovic match yesterday, I think. And it's just, I love tennis. And watching it is really making me want to do it again. So I might see if there's any local clubs that I can join. But I don't have a tennis racket and I haven't played in years. But yes, those are my thoughts at the end of Wednesday night. Did I say Thursday night earlier? I may have. It's Wednesday night. And I will see you all probably very soon with another thoughts, feelings on whichever match I watch next. It's probably only going to get more exciting from here, which honestly I don't see how, because this match really had me on edge the entire time. There were some beautiful rallies, beautiful shots, just very well played from both of them. This probably feels really random if you've been on my channel for a while, because I am so not a sporty person. I dance and that's about it. But surprise. Right, I'll see you all soon. Hello, so it's Monday evening and I just wanted to give an update on the Wimbledon. I also thought it was worth mentioning the football in here because that's happening at the same time, and that was all happening on Saturday, which is Shabbat, as well as the rest of the week. So what I did was, before Shabbat, I had a split screen on my computer that would just play whenever the tennis and the football was on. So I was able to watch both, and I was very much, my eyes were flicking from one screen to the next during the football game, and I think Djokovic or someone was playing, someone big, maybe Alcaraz, I can't remember. The Alcaraz match versus, I can't remember who it was, but it was very, very good. And there was one specific rally that I just thought, this is why Alcaraz deserves to win. The other player was playing excellently too, and he was making it difficult for Alcaraz, but just every shot, every time you didn't think Alcaraz would get to it, he did. It was the one where he fell on the floor and then stood back up and got the other one and then went to the net. It was phenomenal. I do think I watched a Djokovic match as well, but I can't remember. I think yesterday I watched Raducanu, I can't remember her name exactly. I watched her lose, which was kind of sad. I didn't want her to lose, but she did. Although I was happy for Sun. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. It's now at that stage of the competition where it's harder to root for individuals because there's, you know, I want all of them to win. I want all of them to do well. I do still think my top winner is probably Sinner. I feel like he got me during the Australian Open. But I don't know. It's very hard to decide. I just think they're all brilliant and I think they all deserve to do very well. I watched a match today and I'm trying to remember who it was. It was Medvedev, I think, versus, I can't remember, Fried? Something like that, from America. And I didn't get to watch a lot of it because I was at work and there was stuff happening. But from what I did get to see, it was an excellent match. My camera's gonna die now, so I guess that's where we're leaving it for now. But, you know, lots more exciting tennis to come up in the next few days. And the grand final in less than a week. So that's all exciting. And yeah, I'll see you all later with the next update. Bye! Hello, it is the 10th, I believe, of July. It's Wednesday. And I have just spent basically all afternoon watching the tennis match that was, I've already forgotten, Fritz versus Brusetti, I think. And when it started, it looked like it was going to be an absolute walkover for Fritz. And I was rooting for Fritz because it was a name I knew, whereas I didn't know Brusetti. But even though I was rooting for Fritz, I was sad that it looked like it was going so easily for him. I wanted to watch a good match. My Djokovic versus de Minaur match had already been cancelled, which was one I was really looking forward to, and actually the one I wanted to spend my afternoon watching. So all I had today, well, there's still the Euro Cup to come, which is going to be exciting because it's England versus Holland, and I really want Holland to win, but I'm in a place where everyone wants England to win, obviously. But in terms of tennis, I do enjoy watching the women's matches, but none of these four people were names I knew or were particularly interested in. And so the only tennis match of the day was this Fritz versus Rossetti match. And I really, really wanted it to be a good match, especially because I've already seen some great matches earlier on in the tennis, in the Grand Slam. I feel like there's a headless fly on my window, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like it. But anyway, second set really picked up and Rossetti was suddenly actually playing well and it was very enjoyable. I watched almost all the match. And typically in the final set, it was a 5-set match, and in the final set Rossetti was doing very, very well and it definitely looked like he was going to win, and I think he did in the end. But it was 5-1 with the game being on Rossetti's serve, so he was about to serve for the match. And my aunt actually calls me via my cousin's phone. I was like, why are you calling now? But it was a good reason. It was a very fair reason, but it was just terrible timing. And I could see, I had the phone in my hand and I had my computer in front of me and I could still see kind of what was happening. And obviously Rossetti won, but I didn't get to see it properly. I didn't get to see the final point. Or maybe I did, but I didn't really get to see it. And I didn't get to hear, I always like hearing the speeches after, and I didn't get to hear that, so that was a shame. But anyway, it's fine. I also don't know if I've spoken about the Sinner versus Medvedev match yet. If I have, I'll just cut this. But I was sad that Sinner lost. I really do enjoy watching both of them play. I think they're both excellent, and I feel like a few of Sinner's last games have not been great, but this was a really good match. And I was very sad to see Sinner lose. And about halfway through, I was like, wasn't this the final last year? Not last year, in the Australian Open? Or have I made that up? So I looked it up, and it was them in the final. Because I do like Medvedev, and I did like him in the Australian Open final, but I was going for Sinner just because he was the one I didn't know. And as I've already mentioned a few times in this video, I was kind of rooting for Sinner anyway, for the entire Grand Slam. So it was sad to see him go. But Medvedev definitely did well. They both played very well. It was a very good match, very enjoyable. And there were some shots where the rallies were just unbelievable. And there was one specific rally, I can't remember which one it was, but there was definitely, I think it was towards the end, I could be mistaken. And I was watching it and genuinely feeling emotional about it. I finally got why people say that they get emotional when watching like football or whatever. Because I don't really get that in general. I enjoy watching it. You know, I root for someone, or sometimes I'm just happy for either to win, but I don't feel that like connection to it. Whereas during that rally, I just felt so like impressed, I guess, and proud maybe. I don't know. I was just watching it in awe and feeling things as a result. And it was really weird and really cool. So anyway, those are my tennis thoughts. I can't remember who's playing. I think Medvedev is playing tomorrow. Is that right? Medvedev versus... I can't even remember. No, there's nothing tomorrow. I was wrong. It's Friday. Ooh, Friday's going to be good. Medvedev versus Alcaraz. I'm going to be watching that, although I will be at work, I think. Unless they do it in the evening. I hope they don't. Oh no, they won't, because there's also the second match. Oh, Musetti versus Djokovic. I mean, Djokovic is definitely going to win that. I feel like it's not been very fair this year. I feel like Djokovic has had it quite easy compared to like a lot of the top players. But Medvedev versus Alcaraz is going to be good. And I don't know. I think I'm probably going to go for Alcaraz, even though I do like Medvedev as well. Might not seem that way, but I do. But I've really been enjoying watching Alcaraz play so far in the Grand Slam. I hadn't really watched him before, I don't think. And I think he's just really got my heart with that shot he did when he was on the floor and then still ended up winning the point. But honestly, I think I'll be... No, I do think I want Alcaraz to win. But I don't know. I'd be happy for Medvedev to win as well. But Musetti versus Djokovic... I actually think I'm going to root for Musetti just because I want to see the underdog win. And yet, I don't think that's likely. But anyway, we'll find out. I probably won't be able to vlog anything on Friday, so you might not know till Sunday how I felt. I'm really concerned about that fly. I'm not happy about it at all. Anyway, I'll see you probably on Sunday. Bye. Hello, I'm watching... So I'm watching the tennis and I'm not enjoying it. I was doing some other work while watching it, so I've had to put it on the BBC. I'll just mute this for a moment. Because as much as I prefer the Wimbledon live video in terms of the commentators, I don't like the screen at all. I don't like the way it's shown. And the BBC commentators on the whole have been okay, but I have generally preferred the Wimbledon commentators. But these three, I don't know exactly who it is. I know Nick Kyrgios is one of them, and I never really loved him as a tennis player. To be fair, he is Australian, but still. I like the players who are friendly and smiley and not the ones who are angry and swearing. But anyway, they are obviously so pro Djokovic, which it's fine, I guess. But it's just leaving me with this really negative feeling. I'm not enjoying listening to them at all. I guess also in part because I am going for Musetti. Don't get me wrong, Djokovic is an excellent player, but it's nice to root for the underdog, and it would be nice to see someone else do well for once. Especially because Djokovic's ride into the semi-finals has been relatively easy, by his standards anyway. But yeah, it's just really annoying me the way they're talking about Musetti and about Djokovic. It's just really grating on me. But I did also watch the match earlier today, Alcaraz versus... I've forgotten his name. That's ridiculous. Medvedev. And I think I mentioned this in the last clip, I was rooting for Alcaraz, but I do like both players a lot. But I'm glad Alcaraz won. And in this one, as I say, I'm kind of rooting for Musetti, but it's not looking good at all. I think it might be over, in the next half hour or so. But I will. I think I'm going to switch to the Wimbledon viewer, though, because it's actively ruining watching it for me to have these commentators, so not fun. And I need to go and do some cooking and everything, all that jazz, because it's Friday evening. I'm hoping this match won't be another hour and a half. It's 7:30. Shabbat doesn't come in until I think 5 to 9, so we should be all right. Anyway, I'm going to keep watching, and oh, what just happened? I think Musetti just won a game. Not a set. Well, anyway, I'll see you later. Bye! So I switched over to the Wimbledon player, and it turns out it is the same commentators, which is very stupid. So I'm gonna go back to BBC because the actual viewing experience is better. And I'm just gonna have to suffer, I suppose, with these people. It probably won't be much longer anyway. That's all I wanted to share. Bye. Oh my goodness, I just filmed myself watching Djokovic have 3 match points and lose all 3 of them. And I was talking to the camera and everything, and it wasn't filming, apparently. But Musetti has gone from being down love 40 to having the advantage. Keep this, come on, keep this. I was saying before how I know Djokovic is going to win, of course he will, but I would have liked to see Musetti win at least 1 set. And he still hasn't. He's still been broken. And Djokovic will probably win it now, but at least that wasn't an utter decimation. These last 2 games have been phenomenal, and I don't want to believe that Musetti can win a set still, but I really do. He's on break point now. I will go nuts if he breaks it back. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, it was in. Oh, this is insane. No! It could have been so good. How long was that rally? I want to see how long that rally was. I hate when they don't show how long the rally was. They're not going to show it. They have to, come on. They're both playing really fierce now, but no, Djokovic, this is another fourth match point. This is it, he's got this. He did it. I'm happy for him. At least it means I can cook. No! The Wimbledon is over, which is very sad, actually. I didn't get to watch the women's final because it was during Shabbat, which was a real shame because I really wanted to watch it and I was really rooting for Paulini. So after Shabbat, when I saw the scores and I saw sort of how it had gone, I was very happy that Paulini won in the end. Oh no, she didn't. Did she? No, she didn't. Clearly, I can't remember very well. I think I maybe made it up in my head that she won. She didn't. Which is sad, sad. I think it's because she fought back so hard. I think in the first one she lost quite badly. In the second one she won quite well. And in the third one I think it was a tie break, I believe. I don't know. I can't remember. But I was happy for her that she had a good ending. It wasn't like she was absolutely decimated. And I went back and watched her post-match interview and it just made me so sad because you can see she's trying so hard not to cry. And I know that feeling. Obviously not the feeling of, you know, not winning Wimbledon, but the feeling of like trying to keep smiling when actually all you want to do is just break down and cry. So I did feel very sorry for her. I really like her. I really like her attitude. And then today was the men's finals and I was at work, so I didn't get to watch the whole match properly and I couldn't listen to it with sound, which was really a shame. But I am very, very happy that Alcaraz won. I really enjoy watching him play. I know earlier on in this video I mentioned Sinner a few times and I do still really like Sinner, but I do feel like Alcaraz deserved this more from what I've seen from the Wimbledon anyway. And I couldn't believe how well he was doing, like the fact that it was 3 straight sets, unbelievable. Against Djokovic, it's not like it was just against nobody, it was against Djokovic. Although, I have to say, when Alcaraz he had 40 love, and he had 3 championship points and he just kept messing them up. That stressed me out. I was like, what are you doing? Although equally I was expecting Djokovic to win that set and it to go to a 4th, and I would have kind of liked it too because I felt like this is too much of a breeze. I want to see a match. But what I really love, and I may have mentioned this already probably multiple times in this video, but what I really love about Alcaraz is that he's so fierce. He really goes for every ball and you don't think he's going to make it and then he does make it and half the time it lands in. Not all the time, but definitely some of the time. And it's so nice to see that fight because I feel like there's been a lot of tennis I've watched where people just kind of, and like don't get me wrong, I'm not a tennis player. I know that if I were to try and do it, I wouldn't have any energy to do anything. Why is there someone at my door? I don't like that. I'll see you shortly, maybe. Okay, we're all good. It was my grandma who couldn't find her keys. We're all right. I don't like letting people in. I usually just ignore doorbells and things like that, but I did think it was likely to be my grandma. And I was right. I can't remember what I was saying though about Alcaraz and Djokovic. I don't know. All I know is I was happy. But because I was at work, I couldn't watch any of it with sound. So after the football match tonight, I went back onto BBC and watched the speeches. I have to give kudos, I can't say that word, to the Wimbledon organisation because the presentation is so much quicker and more efficient than the Australian Open. Obviously, having lived in Australia for many years, I watched the Australian Open much more than the Wimbledon because of the times. And the Australian Open, the presentation at the end just feels like it goes on and on and on and on, whereas this was so efficient. But it was nice to hear the speeches, it was nice to see how gracious they were to each other, and that's one thing I really love about tennis. 90% of the time, if not more, the players are so kind to each other and so genuine and so, I don't know, not not competitive in a good way. Like, they're still competitive on the court, but off the court they're not. And even one thing I love is when there's been a few times where someone's done a really good shot and the opponent who's lost the point applauds. Or if someone gets a shot, like a lucky shot, because it hits the net, you can see the player who hit the shot sort of half apologise. And I just think that's really decent. There's such good, like, sport. There's such good sportsmanship. I think maybe that's one of the reasons, amongst others, that I really like tennis. And having watched the football tonight, it's so much less aggressive, which I'm so grateful for. I don't like seeing people be aggressive. I don't enjoy that. The only other thing I just reminded myself that I wanted to mention is that I am so convinced that in Australia, the finals start at like 7, I believe. And today the match started at, I think it was 2, which to me was really strange. But what I realised the more I was thinking about it is that in Australia, you can't really play in the middle of the day because it is so hot. Whereas in the UK, you are fighting for the best sun you can get. They were lucky with the weather today. I think they must have been lucky yesterday as well. I don't think it was raining. But in Australia, it wouldn't be safe to play a 4-hour match at 2 in the afternoon in the middle of summer. Whereas here, you're running so many risks just trying to play any match at any time of day in the summer. So I did have to laugh at that, and I'm curious, I can't remember, I really don't remember what the other Grand Slams do. But I think this is the end of our Wimbledon journey for this year. Maybe I'll continue making videos like this for various Grand Slams or other sporting events, although I wouldn't expect it. Let me know all your thoughts on the tennis and if you watched and who you were rooting for and what you thought of the various matches. And I'll see you all shortly in another video. I really can't speak anymore. Bye!